everybody, Chris Coyer here. You know, when you go pro on CodePen, it unlocks a whole bunch of extra features that you can use on CodePen that you couldn't use otherwise. There's a whole bunch of them, privacy and stuff. In this video, I want to talk about asset hosting, one of my favorite ones, potentially super useful. You know, you don't need it every day, but when you do, it's incredibly useful. Let's say I have like a picture of some dogs. Aren't these the cutest dogs in the world? Yes, is the answer. I have no way to if I want to use those dogs in a pen, I have no way to link from here to there. I need these dogs to be hosted somewhere on the internet that I can link to in order to use it in this pen so other people can see it, you know? And that's what asset hosting is for. Now, you open the assets panel. We have a bunch of free assets you can use, including photos and patterns and fonts and stuff that are easy to quick and grab that everybody can use. But I need this exact picture of dog. So I'm going to load it here. You can search in here, of course. I'm going to just drag and drop it in here. That's how easy it is. I'm going to overwrite the dogs that are already there. Now, it's watching out for you. Make sure that I must have already uploaded a dogs.jpg at one point. Now I have a new one. In fact, I happen to know that it was the same exact one, so it's okay. But I would have been more careful about that otherwise. Otherwise I could ruin some picture of dogs that was used elsewhere. But now it's just available for me to use. For one click, I can just copy the URL and use it. Put it in an image tag, put it in a background image in CSS. As a matter of fact, I can do that right here. It gives me quick access to put some of that stuff on my clipboard. I clicked copy as image so I can paste that into my HTML and oh my God, look at that. There's those dogs in this pen. Now I can save it, send it to my friend or client or whatever. They'll see the dogs there. It's given me this kind of S3 HTTPS hosted version of dogs that I can just use and count on forever. So that's nice. And it could be anything. It could be JavaScript, CSS, whatever. Speaking of which, let's do the same thing with a piece of JavaScript. Let's say we want to make sure that this image gets loaded before we run other JavaScript. That's a great library for that called images loaded. Now, we have so many JavaScript libraries that you can just search for and find, like images loaded. It looks like here there's a jQuery port of it maybe. I'm not sure exactly, but I know that images loaded has a vanilla version of it. So I just want to make sure we're using this library. Well, why not? If I can't find it wherever I want it, I'll just go to the source, grab the packaged version of this project, get the raw source of it, save it so I have a copy of it locally, and then upload it just like I uploaded the dogs. I go to my JavaScript tab and it'll help you there kind of. I'm going to load this up there. Look, I already have a copy of it there, so I have to overwrite it. But there it comes in. It would have just slid in effortlessly if it was the first time I was uploading a file of that name. And again, I can copy the URL, put it in a script tag, put it in my external assets and settings. In fact, we have a quick little way to do that, add as external script. So now this pen is using that JavaScript library, and I can use the library. So I guess we'll have to reference the GitHub repo to find probably the site itself to find out how you use it. It looks like that's the ticket there, right? It's a global function and you have a container and then it has a callback when the images in that particular container are loaded. So I'll just paste it in here. It's looking for something with an ID of container, so I could just Command-Shift-A container around it. Will wrap, it's just a little Emmet shortcut there to wrap this piece of HTML. And now there's a container, and theoretically when this thing ran, I'll open the console, all images are loaded. Yay. So now I could write code in here that would measure the dimensions of that image. And we know that they're going to be correct because that's how JavaScript works. Sometimes it has to be loaded for you to get correct answers for something like that. So I'm using external assets here to upload JavaScript of a library that I want to use. You see, I use this all the time. And I have a bunch of images in here that I want to use in pens. I use it all the time. It's as easy as drag and drop. Now I have a URL for it. Now I can use it and other people can see it as well. If you're on a team, the team assets are all consolidated. Like when we open up this panel on a team, it'll show me my team's assets. So everybody on the team has access to that asset. It's not just this pop-up builder here. There's also this idea of the asset manager, which is this full page asset managing experience. For example, I could go in here and find the images loaded library by just looking for it or filtering for it. And it's going to show me that library in case I want to come in here and look at it, but not just look at it. I could duplicate it, rename it, delete it, and more importantly, edit it. So let's see, in CSS, I got to clear this filter. I could open up this cpcolors.scss here, and like this is just like a way I was prototyping. I wanted to have our exact colors that we use at CodePen and link that up into a pen so that I could use it. Now notice it is SCSS. If I link up an SCSS pen and an asset in an SCSS pen, it will work. It will combine them together before processing so that I can access these variables. Super useful. But I could come in here and make changes if I want to and save that asset. So just because you've uploaded an asset, if it's a text asset like CSS and JavaScript or SVG or JSON or something, I can come in here and edit it at any time, and that will reflect when I refresh the pen using that asset. Super cool, super useful little function of CodePen is being able to host your assets on here of any kind and use them in your pens or your projects or whatever else. Yeah, that makes me think, like, even if you're, when you're writing a new post, if you have that asset, then you can, when you're writing a post, I can drag dogs on here too. I'll make a unique name for this dog. It's gonna make a copy. I can get the URL and then use it in here if I wanted to. That should preview. Now I have access to put images into my post just like that. Super easy. Okay, that is the pro feature of asset hosting. Let me know, of course, if you have any questions. Thanks. Goodbye.